Jerks, good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing okay today. I'm freezing out. It is cold in here. I don't want to turn on the heat. Trying to hold on. I can't afford it. I can't afford the heat. But I'm trying. I don't know about you. Do you try to not turn on the heat until at least Thanksgiving? That's what I always try to do. But today it feels like, especially where the room I'm in, it's the coolest room in the house. So I'm all bundled up. I'm freezing. Trying not to turn on the heat. It's not even that cold out, but it just feels it. Um, Just wondering how you doing. How's everybody doing today? Um, Before I get into the real stuff today, this I got a call today that I'm going to talk about a little bit related to the content we're doing today. Man, but before that, we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll have a little bit of fun here because people want to know about the meatloaf. Mike, how was the meatloaf? Did you buy bologna and condiments? Laugh my ale. Yeah, I mean, the meatloaf is phenomenal. We had a great dinner last night. Uh, the kids loved the food and had leftovers, so I ate some today, little meatloaf, and I could afford some condiments. It was amazing. I'm gonna have bologna dinner tonight because of you guys. You guys threw me like $20 last night. It's just you're feeding me, thank God, because otherwise I was gonna starve. And you can tell I can't afford the heat either, so that's why I'm wearing my jacket, right? So thank you so much, Sherry, for asking. Um, yes. Hi, Kathy. And hi, Loopy Lass says hi all. Hi, Mike. How was your back? My back's been killing me all day. I fell asleep early last night and didn't get up until early morning, and slept a little more than usual. And when I do that, my back ends up killing me. It hasn't hurt this bad in quite a while, thank God. But it's kind of sucked today. It got a little better walking dogs and being out in the sunshine, but I can still feel it. Um, it is what it is, though. It will be gone. It always comes and goes. So I'll be fine. Yeah, bologna. I got meatloaf and I got bologna because people have been hooking me up. I might next time I might get a Cliff Bar. Give myself is my. They always say that my volume is low. Let me look. I don't think it is. Yeah, maybe I could turn it up a little bit, but I'm gonna play video and then my volume's gonna be too high. So maybe you need to turn your volume up. I'm gonna edit it anyway. Yeah, I'm a little bit low. I could turn it up a little bit, but then you know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna play the video and you're gonna say I'm too loud. I'll turn it up just a little bit. All right. Bologna is not kosher. Yeah, what actually is bologna? I don't want to know, Sherry. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it for me. All right. I'm glad you turned your volume up. Good. All right. We're gonna play some video today. I'm not gonna. This is not gonna be a long one because the next video is gonna be actually Robert Devine. That's the long video. That's the next one. I can't wait to play that. Maybe tomorrow. Probably not because I got Howie Carr on tomorrow night at 7. Maybe during the day, but even then, because it's gonna be three plus hours. So I'll probably do that on Friday or Saturday. We'll see. But today's video, we're going to play the video from the trial channel, and it's Robert Devine hearing. It's Hailey Hogan. She's a defense witness for Robert Devine. Been a lot of comments on this video already. A lot of people aren't happy with her testimony. I haven't heard it yet. This is the first time watching it for me, but I'm just gonna say, actually, let me just check my messages real quick. I want to make sure it's not about this. Okay, it's not. It's a campaign ad. I hate when they opt you into these campaign ads on text. It's like, come on, stop texting me. All right. So today I got a phone call. I actually got two different interesting messages today related to Robert Devine. One is a woman. I'm not gonna say too much about that one actually. The one I was just about to speak on because I don't know what I can say. I didn't ask her. But basically, it has to do with him. He is still an attorney. Let's just put it that way. this guy is still a licensed attorney, still representing clients. So that was a call from one, basically a message from one woman. And maybe she'll want me to share more. I'll maybe talk about more if she allows me to. But the one I'm really focused on, the call I got today, which was very short but heartbreaking. Um, and this is about Robert Devine. This is a victim as a child, an alleged victim of Robert Devine, who called me today. And she was in tears because she listened and watched the testimony of Robert Devine. And the one thing she wanted me to let everybody know in between her tears today on the phone was that everything that she heard him testify to was all lies. It's not Sandra that's lying. It's Robert Devine who's lying. That's what she told me today. I gotta say, it was heartbreaking. It was a video call. And I turned off the video because I was walking dogs and had bad reception. And at first, I didn't know that she was crying. Then, like a second or two, it dawned on me what was going on. I was just like watching her cry. Like, this stuff matters. Like, the stuff that we're covering here, there's still victims. It's not just Sandra. She was one. There are still victims alive, still families suffering. And like someone said, in her opinion, yeah, that is her opinion. And that's her experience too. And I believe it. I do believe her. Now, I'm not going to say I have any proof on this, but we're going to talk more. And that's exactly, I'm so glad you said for that, Phoebe. Phoebe, this is such a good comment because that's exactly what I told her. Phoebe said, "Did you tell her, Mike? We already know he's a liar. He's a misogynist pig." And that's what I said. I said, "You know what? I will share that with everyone that you believe he's that for your point of view that he lied from what you heard of his testimony, but everyone already believes that. Everyone already believes he's a liar. So, and I gotta say, I don't know because she didn't really tell me, but I could feel that she maybe felt good about that. That she knew what I was saying was true and that kind of reality. And it was kind of how I was like, just remind yourself. People do know this. People do know that he's full of it. I just that call. I mean that sometimes you get these calls that remind you why you're actually here. You know what I mean? What your purpose is. It was one of those types of calls. It's just like, holy shit. This is a mom. This is a grown mom now. She's a mom with her own kids. And she's crying about what he did to her as a child. Yeah, people do know he's a liar. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this half-hour video. It's not a long video, like I said. It's Hailey Hogan. She's a defense witness. She's a witness for Robert Devine. We're going to play this video from the beginning and see what's up because it's the first time I'm watching it. Man, I got to say that call just it was probably like a 2-minute call. I don't know, maybe 5-minute call. I don't even know. It was such a short call, but just haunting. It's haunting because I know how much this has affected this mom. All right, let's play the video.
I need to reflect for a moment. That was the decision on the journal. What is it that you're asking for now? So,
Guys, I'm just asking them to move it as evidence. I don't know that it's actually in evidence. If it is, great. If it's not, I want to make sure that I have it down.
here's the journal.
I believe it's in evidence already. I think it was in the motion. The motion in limine decided it was in.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I just want to make sure. So he received
I
it.
never did things twice. So it's in. We don't need to deal with it. I got it.
I as long as it's in.
Okay. We have another witness available.
I believe that the division rests.
And with the response.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I apologize. The interview transcripts are in. The rest of the documents are we.
You mean the exhibits that were associated with those?
Correct. We did not resolve that. Excuse me.
I understood that what came to us, but I haven't had an opportunity or even attention to review everything. What's coming into evidence was the audio recordings themselves, the transcripts, and obviously some other related documents, for instance, the ones that you sought to redact and withhold. Are there more additional documents beyond that?
So there are essentially documents that the investigators used when they were interviewing individuals. So for example, there are copies of text message that was shown, a reference in the interview as well.
That's true. In fact, that was one that Mr. Stowe had seen attached. So
Yes.
there's more of those out there.
Yes, there are.
How do you feel about those coming?
Well, Your Honor, I think one that duplicates. This is already happened. Secondly, there's
Well, except that the one, would that have been somewhere else?
I don't know that it is. I don't know that it is.
No, he said they would be duplicates.
Duplicates. Well, the ones I have seen are basically the Billy Farwell, the stuff that's already part of the exhibits that are here.
They like a text message.
Tell the text messages. The only one that's not, this was part of the AI reports that. Also
My decision really seeks to do exactly that, to avoid more duplication and the like. But are you concerned, counsel, that there's other documents that are not part of the record already?
I believe that may be the case, Your Honor. Well, in particular, the audio transcripts are certainly not elsewhere.
You mean the audio recordings?
Yes, the audio recordings, correct.
Well, I think particularly when there's been some controversy about the transcription and the like, that the audio ought to be part of the record as well. Do you have
I agree.
a problem with that?
I have no problem with the audience.
So we will, as a set, it'll be one exhibit, which will be all of the audio recordings, the transcripts for which have been moved into evidence and accepted.
But there's other extraneous stuff. There's questions that the officers had. That were part of it was what was produced, that their mental thoughts and questions they were going to ask. So there's other stuff in there that isn't just transcripts. I believe.
I thought you were just telling me that the only thing you found that wasn't already elsewhere was this. What's his name?
Right, and that's what was written on, because the officer wrote that on. But I think there might be one record that the police officer wrote out. These are the questions I'm going to ask this particular witness. I think there might be one of those. But if you don't have it, you don't have it. So
The division's position is that all these materials should go in, be admitted into evidence that were received from Stone Police Department. In particular, because it's been such an issue of what was turned over to post or not. I mean, the witness himself just testified that his intention was that post have everything, because that's the way that the internal affairs investigation would be complete.
Yeah, well, I had a few reasons for asking that question, but that's one of them. Well, to the extent it deals with the issue, if there is a lingering issue about the failure to transmit the entire file to the commission, why wouldn't that be satisfied simply by having all that marked in identification preserved that way? I just, I've got to make fact findings that have to weed through a whole file and see if there's one document that has some handwritten material on it but it appears elsewhere in this file. Seems to be a distraction that's not productive and that wouldn't help us get to the root findings in this case. But if there's some other, I mean, I think the documents need to be preserved because we now have everything that the department says that they meant to transmit. I think we could do that by saving that marking for identification. Does that suit your purposes?
So I think there are two documents where part of it is that it's been so long since direct occurred on Chief Holmes that I'm unsure of what Chief Holmes represented on his direct.
What is that one?
So there are two in particular. One, there's a screenshot of the Board of Bar Examiners website and Mr. Devine's result. And I can't remember if Chief Holmes represented that he did not look up that information or not, but it was contained on the flash drive. And then the other thing that
that was really a subject of the testimony. Yes. I don't have a problem with that. Do you have any objection to that one being
the Board of Overseers
screenshot?
Yeah, we stipulated that.
So it's already in evidence, but there was a question as to whether Chief Holmes had that information.
Okay, and now we suspect that he would because it was part of the documents he'd been provided.
Correct.
We can add that one.
And the other one is
that'll be my next thing. Is the screenshot of.
Okay. Let me just check because that was admitted last time. So.
But the reason as far as he wants it now
yes.
is the context in which we received it.
Yeah. So that was Division Exhibit 11. So I guess that would.
Can we maybe stipulate that it was also part of the materials that were received from Stone Police Department?
Yeah. Okay. Does that satisfy that concern?
Yeah. The other documents.
That's Exhibit 11 stipulation. That's part of the documents that have been since June 5th that have been provided from the Stone Police Department.
And the other document, this is again something that I have a note about, but I'm not entirely certain.
I don't know what that all means.
Yeah. I can forward the document. It's already been identified at this point, but I can forward the document as well. It's something, assuming Mr. Devine is still going to testify, I expect that we're going to go until tomorrow. If Attorney still needs time to review, we can discuss this tomorrow.
In any event, it's part of that group of documents that's now being marked for identification, right? Which is
yes, they're the ones submitted on June 13th for those ones.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And what is that? What would we call that? Something for identification.
Hold on, let me know.
I just want to clarify on the third.
All of those were marked. And correct me if I'm wrong, Exhibit F for identification purposes. And just for the record, I did want to say that the screenshot of the respondent's bar admission was Division Exhibit 5. I know I originally said 11, but that was the Robert Holmes bar admission.
Oh, okay.
To clarify.
Exhibit 5.
Yes, and that was the.
Anything else we need to discuss before we hear from the next witness?
No, I did just email those. or that specific PDF.
That's what, so, you say,
Yes,
conviction as rested.
yes,
It's responding to the evidence he wishes to present.
Yes.
And you have witness.
Oh, wait, Hailey Hogan.
We get,
Hailey Hogan.
and
If I could get, 1266.
okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would you say your name, please?
Hailey Hogan.
Ms. Hogan, would you raise your right hand? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may have a seat.
Ma'am, can you state your name for the record?
Haley Hogan,
And what town do you live in?
Stoughton, Massachusetts.
How long have you lived in Stoughton?
My whole life.
How old are you?
24.
What do you do for work?
I'm a dog groomer.
And,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. You're what?
A dog groomer.
and do you know, the gentleman sitting next to me, Mr. Robert?
I do.
How do you know?
I was about 13, 14 years old. I joined the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy. And that's when I met him.
And, what is the Stoughton Police Academy? What is Explorers Program?
The way I was explained when I was younger, it was a academy for youth who had any idea of wanting to be in the military or firefighter, cop, etc. That type of training.
And how was it you learned about the program?
I believe it was through school, through my counselor who had introduced me to that.
What school was that?
O'Donnell Middle School in Stoughton.
And, what was your experience like?
To me, it was a great experience. It was a very safe environment. It was very firm with rules, and I wanted to be in the military, so I really loved the environment of being able to learn what I would have to go through if I were to go into the Coast Guard like I wanted to when I was that age.
And, what was your interactions like with Mr. Devine? How often did you see him? What would you do as far as interactions?
I saw him daily. He ran the Explorers Academy. I wouldn't say I necessarily interacted with him daily, but in the academy, he was very nice, very professional, very inspiring. He told a lot of stories of him in the military, so that was the part to me that made me want to be there, because he was in the Coast Guard, and that spoke to me, because I wanted to go into the Coast Guard.
And, did he give up his email address or phone number to pay people?
Never.
If you wanted to contact him, how would you do that?
They were, I forget the name of what they were called, but there were specific youth people that were in charge that you would go to them instead of the police officers.
They were the captains of the program?
Correct.
So he had a small group of people that if you wanted to talk to him, you'd have to go through the captains of the program.
Yes.
Kind of a hierarchy,
Right.
I guess they would have in the military.
Yeah.
Now, did you draft this affidavit? Did you sign this affidavit?
I did.
Okay. And, why'd you sign it? Why'd you sign the document?
Because it's the truth.
And, you were in the program, let's start with paragraph 3. You were in the program with, SB throughout your tenure?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Paragraph 3, can you see it from there?
Slightly, yes. There we
Paragraph
go.
3, I'm gonna go through the paragraphs and ask you questions.
Perfect.
Paragraph 3.
Yes.
What was your tenure? When did you start, when did you leave?
I can't give you exact dates, but I did the Explorers Academy for one full, the duration that they would hold it with when Devine was running the program. And then the person that took over the next year, I didn't make it halfway through that Explorers program because it just wasn't the same.
And how did it change?
I felt like it wasn't as the officer that was in charge at that point. I feel like he wasn't as dedicated to it.
He, not that he wasn't like serious, but like he just wasn't as inspiring, or like I feel like he didn't care as much. It just didn't feel the same.
And have you ever seen Mr. Devine display any unprofessional behavior towards any of the students or explorers?
Never.
What if any conduct did you see, or any relationship did you see between SB and Mr.
No,
Devine? No what?
I did not see a relationship between them two.
Ever see Mr. Devine kiss or hug anyone in the program?
No, I did not.
Did Mr. Devine give you any direction as regarding if you felt comfortable or uncomfortable in participating?
I'm sure that if I'm sure at some point, maybe to the class, there was times where he said if there was anything you were uncomfortable with, you could always talk to one of the youth captains, or if there's anything you ever needed, you could always reach out to somebody.
Could you expand on that, please?
Unfortunately, I never got to experience going on one. But the ride-alongs, I know that statement is accurate. That the ride-alongs with females, they would have to go with female officers. But unfortunately, I never got to go on one.
Please expand on that.
I feel like she was very attention-seeking. She was just one of those people that would try to go above and beyond and be better than everyone else to get a praise or attention.
Okay. You witnessed that, ma'am?
Yes.
What happened? What did you say?
There had been times where she had asked if any of us like knew anyone that could get in contact with any of the officers, and she talked about it a few times, but she never actually talked about being in contact. She just wanted to get in contact.
And I believe, did anyone?
I want to stop this for 1 second. Wow. This is a young lady, early 20s. I think they said she's 24. She's a dog groomer, which I like. But this is wild already, because you could see, look at Robert Devine. He's in the top right screen, the top right box to the far left. And he's leaning over. He's like this, watching her. He's like looking right at her. His body language. This is his witness. This is his person to say, hey, everything was cool. I never saw any of it. Which, like, are you serious? Like, if some kids are getting molested, most kids aren't going to notice it. Most kids aren't going to see it. Let's be serious. Not every kid's going to get molested, right? Not every kid's going to get groomed. So already it's like, what is this about? But number two, she just shit all over Sandra Birchmore. It's like, really? You really just said that? And this woman's dead. It does. It feels coach. And not only that, it feels malicious. And I'm not trying to bash on this young lady. Not at all. Because I'm not blaming this on her. I'm blaming this on the two people in the right corner here. Like, this is gross. This is friggin' gross. And I almost feel bad for this woman, because I don't think she realizes how many people are watching this shit and how shitty you look by talking like that about a deceased young lady. So far, it's like, I think we're pretty much all going to disregard everything she says. And I think the judge probably did too. But we'll watch it. We'll watch it all. But geez, already this is driving me nuts, I got to say. Yeah, this is really sick. She's not saying Yeah, she's not saying Sandra deserved to be raped. She's definitely not saying that. She's saying that Sandra was looking for attention. And you know the thing about that too? That's the type of person. If a young child is looking for attention, that's who the predator goes for. Especially if they know the predator doesn't have adults in their life, which it didn't seem like Sandra had a great base of support. I'm guessing this young lady had a great base of support. I'm guessing that she didn't look like a good victim, right? So the testimony so far is not helping. I feel like it's not helping them at all. In fact, it's making them look worse, and it's also making, reiterating to the judge like, oh, Sandra was somebody that probably would have been an easy victim because she was so eager for attention, right? But geez, why say that? The way she said it. If it was me, I would have said it a little differently. I would have tried to be a little more compassionate. I don't know. She was vulnerable. That's what victimizers look for, right? Child victimizers, they look for the person that doesn't have support. All right, I got to go back to playing this. That just bothered me. I was just, oh, gross.
It was a time for me where I was starting to, hang out with the wrong kids and kind of go down different paths in life. And I feel like the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy that Devine specifically ran just gave me a little bit of like, it made me kind of know what I wanted to do with my life.
The thing is, I don't think Divine sat like that. He wasn't facing Holmes. I don't think he liked Holmes. He was not facing Holmes, Officer Holmes, like that. Look at how he's leaning in and facing her. Very interesting. And to me, she seemed a little groomed too. Did you notice too when she talked about the new officer came along and it wasn't the same? He wasn't invested. A lot of times, a regular person is just regular and boring compared to the charismatic, right? The charismatic kind of leader that grooms children. Those are the ones you usually have to watch out for. The ones that, right? The ones that are too excited about the kids. So already she's not painting, for me, her testimony is doing the opposite of what this dude wants so far. For me, anyways. I'd like to see how you all feel. Do you feel that this, all in the chat, I want to know, do you feel like so far her testimony is actually helping him or not? I feel like it's not helping him. I think he thinks it's helping him, but I don't think this is actually helpful at all. I think this is just reiterating what actually happened here. Yeah, she didn't get as much attention. That too, right? Right? I bet the kids I coached and taught would say the same thing. They didn't get much attention from me because I was just normal with them. You know what I mean? Not trying to be their best friend. The ones that want to be the kid's best friend, those are the ones you got to question. It's not like I was like opposed to being close to there were certain kids on the teams, for instance, that I coached. I would pay special attention to them because I felt like they needed it. But it wasn't creepy. It wasn't predator. It wasn't anything like what I'm hearing from this guy already. All right, let's get back to it.
I knew that like I wanted to be in a profession somewhat like that. I liked having the rules and like the regulations of like feeling like I was in the military.
Okay. No further questions.
Any cross?
Good afternoon, Ms. Hogan. Did you draft this affidavit yourself? And why did you initially draft the affidavit?
I drafted it because it's the truth.
So nobody reached out to you, you just drafted it?
I knew I was going to have to be a part of this, so
How did you know that?
when I was told.
By whom?
I got mail to my house that said I had to be here.
You're saying that this hearing today?
Yeah.
But that's after you drafted the affidavit, right?
Right, yeah.
So when did you draft the affidavit?
A while ago.
And why did you draft it?
I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Did somebody ask you to?
I can't remember.
Did you do it on your own will?
Yeah.
That's a good comment. She does. She's starting to sound like Deaver or Dever, whatever we call her. It's just like, are you kidding me? You can't answer that. Who asked you to sign the affidavit? That's a friggin' easy question. That's an easy question. Come on. Why is this already becoming difficult? You know, really. It's like a false memory. I don't know. I don't remember. She's not that old. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like my age, trying to remember when I was in high school or when I was in college or when I was teaching school. That was so many decades ago. It would be hard to remember. But this woman is she's, they say she's 24 years old. She's going to remember everything. When you're 24, you remember everything, right? Because you don't have that much to keep track of. Oh, I'm not buying this already. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, yes.
So you just woke up one day and said, I feel like drafting an affidavit?
No,
Yeah.
no, I knew like obviously the context of the situation that was going on and that I
How
was
did
gonna
you
have
find
to
it?
be involved in witness.
But how did you know that? How did you know you would have to be a witness?
I can't remember.
She can't remember. Who did she reach out to? I mean, this is like, I knew I had to be a witness. Really? That wouldn't be the first thing I would think, especially if you didn't see anything. It seems like you were already defending this guy, right? Where did that defense come from? This is very strange already.
Obviously, this has been going on for a while, so I've had this affidavit written out for a while.
Did Mr. Devine ever ask you to draft the affidavit?
No.
Did Mr. Still?
No,
So you just,
maybe. I'm not sure.
maybe to which?
To Stowe.
There was no to Divine. And I guess Stowe's probably the attorney, right? First she said no, and now she's like, maybe, actually. Maybe. How do you not remember that? This is weird. This is fucking weird. This young lady looks like she was groomed. I'm telling you, this is not looking good. And I don't want anyone to harass her or get mad at her. She's young. She doesn't know any better. You know, this just screams to me though. I hope nobody gives her any shit, harasses her. I believe she's somewhat of a victim, just like the rest, even though it doesn't appear she was actually physically touched or, you know, any of that stuff. But this is weird.
I'm not sure.
So did
Yeah.
you graduate from Stoughton High School?
Yes. Well, no, I didn't. I dropped out freshman year. Sorry. I graduated from Mansfield.
Okay, and so in what years did you?
All right, so this is like someone said, she's likely a victim too, and I mean a victim like not in terms of the physical stuff or even the real mental stuff, but you know, this is definitely traumatic for her. I guarantee you too. Like everyone, especially all these students and kids. So I don't want to be mean to her, but we can criticize what's going on here.
Stoughton High School?
Ninth grade.
Were you an explorer in ninth grade?
No, it was middle school.
Okay. Are you aware if SB was an explorer after middle school?
She was older than me, so I'm not sure how long she was in the program prior to me.
And
That's also sus. Like she really sounds like she really wasn't around a lot of the time Sandra was in the program, right? Both before and after. Like it sounds like she had a limited time when Sandra was in the program because Sandra was in the program before her and after her and during. So it's like, what do they look for? The person that had the least time in the Explorers program? That's almost what it sounds like here.
prior to her death, how often did you keep in contact with SB?
I really didn't after the Explorers Academy.
I'm just having a little trouble hearing. What you
I
said.
didn't after the Explorers Academy.
So that was approximately when you were a freshman in high school at the latest?
Yeah.
And you're
Oh,
not,
it was I definitely was not in the Explorers Academy while I was a freshman. It was definitely between the years of like 7th and 8th grade of middle school.
have you kept in contact with Mr. Devine?
I mean, yeah,
How do you keep in contact?
he lives in my neighborhood.
How often do you see him?
Not often.
Has he lived in your neighborhood since you were a police explorer?
I'm not sure. I just know that I've lived in the same location my whole life. And I've seen him walking around and driving around the neighborhood. So I know he lives around me.
Do you have his phone number now?
No.
Did you ever have his phone number?
No.
So you mentioned that you never saw any inappropriate contact between Mr. Devine and a police explorer. Is that correct?
Correct.
Are you aware if Mr. Devine ever had any relationship with explorers after they graduated high school?
Not that I know of.
Nothing further.
Just I'm a little confused about one thing. At some point, before you ever wrote an affidavit, before you got a summons to appear here, but initially, did somebody contact you and ask you to be a witness in this case?
I don't remember.
Well, you're here now,
Yeah, because of the mail I got.
but you were here and you were here in June.
This is a great question. I love that the judges in these administrative hearings can ask the questions directly. The judge wants to know. The judge is going back to that question we had. How can't you remember? This is good. This judge is good. This judge is already onto it. He's smart. He's seeing what's going on here. Totally.
Right.
Because of mail you got?
Right.
And did that come out of thin air? And you say, oh my God, why am I getting this mail? Why am I going to court? Or whatever we call this.
I mean, it made sense. I was a part of that Explorers Academy.
So,
It made sense. I was a part of that academy.
so if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying at the moment you got that, it just made sense. You had no idea that somebody was, because you hadn't talked to anyone about being a witness in this case. Is that what you're saying?
Say like makes sense because I was part of the Explorers program. How many kids do you think went through that Explorers program that Devine didn't have as witnesses for himself? Like most of the kids that went through the program are not witnesses for Devine. I want to know why. I want to know how she became a witness, who contacted her. So far, she can't tell us. That makes her non-credible. Like she, as far as as I'm concerned, she has no credibility at this point. And I'm not saying that she's a terrible person or any of that. I'm just saying I don't trust her on this issue. And for obvious reasons, and that, like I said, doesn't make her a bad person. She's a young person. I hope the best for her, especially with the dog grooming. I like that she does that. I hope she does very well at it. But so far, I don't find her credible on this at all, and I have a feeling the judge doesn't either. I want to know what you think of the chat. Does anyone find her credible at this point?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
When it made sense to you, you said that you got subpoenaed to come to court because you'd been part of the Explorers program.
Right.
And before that you received that summons, even though it made sense to you, is it your testimony that nobody approached you about or asked you to be a witness in this case?
Let me just say, I wrote 2 affidavits. One was definitely used for Aiden Carney, Turtle Boy. I'm not sure about the second one. I could tell you how they happened, who called me. The second one that was definitely used came about because Betterow called me. Said, Mike, I need to talk to you about this. I wrote something based on your statements. Is this all true? Will you sign this affidavit? I read it over and I said, that's exactly what I said, Mr. Betterow. I will sign this affidavit. That's how one of the affidavits came out. And it was because I had spoken about it on my show, and then Betterow heard it. He might have even been there. I don't remember that part of it, but I had spoken about it. It may be online too as well. I think that's really where I'd spoken about it online. But, you know, that's how one of the affidavits came about. The second affidavit was talking to Courtney Haley, telling her what happened. I told her, I offered, and she listened to me, copied it down, sent it back to me. I signed it. I don't know if they actually ever used that first affidavit, but I could tell you who talked to me, how it came about, all of that. Why can't she? Why can't she just tell? I mean, this is wild. This is crazy, right? I mean, if I don't expect to be called for Aiden Carney's cases, but if I were ever called, that would be an easy question to answer. You know, I might say, I'm not sure if I talked about it on the show or Twitter, but I talked about it somewhere and Bettero heard it or saw it and basically quoted me and called me and said, hey, this is what I got. Is this what happened? Yes. Okay. That was it, you know? So I don't get this. I don't get how you can't even explain it. You can't explain it at all.
I don't, I mean, I had to have been asked by someone, but I just,
Well, that's why I'm asking the question.
yeah, I mean,
Well, let's think about the people that it could be. Did Mr. Devine ever talk to you about being a witness in this case?
I feel like I got a letter.
Well, don't look at him, look at me.
She keeps going back to the letter, but she had signed an affidavit before that. Like, that's the thing. You're not being truthful. I don't get why she's not being truthful here. This is not good. Not good for her. I heard she's 24 right now, or at least when she testified here. She might be a little older now, but this happened a few months ago.
I'm sorry, I'm trying just to remember. I don't know.
Well, I want you to try real hard because it's important for me to understand because I have to make certain decisions in this case. All right. So think about how you got involved as a witness in this case. Did Mr. Devine or Mr. Stowe or somebody on their behalf come and talk?
I mean, this smacks to me of a young person sticking up for their favorite person in the school. Like, a lot of school teachers will have those kids that look up to them, where that's your favorite teacher and you defend them. That's what this looks like. And the fact that Devine has one of these doesn't help him, in my opinion. I think it sets off more red flags.
Talk to you and see if you'd be willing to be a witness in this case?
Not in person. I believe I got a letter. And I believe it was from Mr. Stowe.
And did you follow up after you got the letter? Did you call Mr. Stowe and say, okay, I'd be a witness?
Yeah, because I had talked to him prior to this.
Prior to this meeting?
See, now she notice how at first no, she said no. Then she said maybe. And then she admits she got a letter from the attorney, and now she says she talked to. I mean, how many times can you change a story in 10 minutes? Right? It's crazy. Yeah. And look at his body language. He's staring right at her. Right? Look at his body language. Staring right at her. Facing her. I don't remember him doing this for the deputy chief and the police chief. Do you? Yeah, they didn't coach her. That's one thing. They didn't coach her. They didn't coach her very well. Jeez. This is wild. This is no wonder why I saw all the comments on the. We gotta shut out the trial channel too. They are editing these videos, speeding them up on the parts that nothing is happening. They've been removing all the artificial fuzz sound, so we were able to get through these a lot quicker. Please subscribe to them. It's pinned in the chat today. I want to thank the trial channel. Yeah, he's at the very top. See him the top right box. You see 3 men in the top right box, right? He's the far left. He's the one that's facing sideways. See how his His chair's totally turned, unlike the other guys. His lawyer is partially turned, and then there's the guy in like the kind of gray. He's staring straight ahead. I think he's actually the prosecutor. You know, I think he's the state. It's a weird angle, but I believe he's the state, the guy on the far right. Yeah, I know. I wonder if she is afraid. That could be the other thing. She could be very much afraid. Who knows? We don't know. All right, let's keep playing this. It's almost over.
Being here
Right.
and prior to signing an affidavit as well.
I believe so. I believe so.
Did you type the affidavit or was it presented to you to sign after you talked to somebody?
No, I came up with the affidavit.
You wrote that all
Yeah.
on your own?
I mean, my aunt's a lawyer, so I mean, I had a little bit of help.
Ah, so there it is. It's the lawyer aunt. But was it suggested to you that that an affidavit would be helpful in this case? From an affidavit from you?
I believe so.
And who suggested that?
I'm not sure. I can't remember who told me I needed to do what. I don't really know.
But
It's been a
did
while.
you receive, you said, who told you to do what? Did you receive instructions from somebody?
Not instructions, no.
Suggestions from somebody?
No. Just I knew I had to write an affidavit.
How did you know that?
I believe I got a letter. I honestly, my memory is terrible. So it's been so long.
Now, how long has it been? What's the date of that affidavit? I'm sorry.
January 9th, 23.
Yeah.
She said because my speakers aren't as well on the replay when I'm listening to headphones here, unfortunately, with StreamYard. What was the date? Did you guys hear that? Well, I want to know what date. Was it 2020? Is that what she said? I'll take my headphones off and listen to it on the phone. I'll hear it better. July something. Yeah, what year? 2022. So basically 3 years ago. Or 23. Wow. So 2023. So just a couple of years ago, and she doesn't remember? Come on. Not believable. This judge isn't buying it. This judge is not. Yeah, I know, right? She can't remember that, which was more recent, but she can remember what happened when she was age 14. I mean, with Sandra. I know. I guarantee you, this judge is not buying. He's onto it. He's asking the right questions. You can tell. This judge is not buying it.
So it's been over 2 years?
Yeah. So it's honestly a little foggy for me.
A little what?
A little
Honestly.
foggy, like
I love how number one, when people say honestly, like when you're not compared to when you're not being honest. Is that what it is? I mean, I'm sure I've said it before, but I laugh at that when they say honestly. But notice her body language too. She's like this, like her hands are down by her, like probably between her knees or something. That's the way she's hunched over, leaning forward. She looks nervous. I feel bad for her. Yeah, and that's the other thing. That seems very coach too. You know, like I'm sure the lawyer said, "Hey, do you remember how attention seeking she was, right?" I'm sure that was planted in her head. And again, I'm not crapping on her at all, Hailey Hogan. I hope you do great in life. I don't hold anything against you for this testimony, but I don't find it credible. Nothing against you.
exactly how I got to that point,
Yeah.
but I know that there was definitely a letter that made me aware that I was going to be involved. I just am not 100% sure what that letter said or when I got it. I'm not sure.
Did the letter tell you that you were required to be involved or asked you if you were willing to be involved?
Willing.
All right, any further questions?
No.
All right, thank you very much.
That's it. I think you can see the judge has basically dismissed her, said, okay, enough of this. Enough of this. I don't believe you. You're not credible enough. Move on.
Still any additional evidence?
Yes, sure. I asked to take a quick break.
Why give her a break? Because she's 24 years old. And this happened when she was a child. And she's definitely been influenced. You know, I don't think people are fully adults until like their 30s, actually. Even then, people mature much later in life, too. Like, you have to give young people a break. You can't compare a 24-year-old to someone who's 50. They're just not the same mental capacity, life experience. You don't see, but you don't realize that people can influence you like that, right? She think in her mind, she's sticking up for someone that she believes is a good person that didn't do this. Think about that too. Yeah, the brain is not fully developed until you're 25. I mean, every study shows that. I think it's even later than that now. I think it's probably 30. For me, I feel like I didn't really grow up till 30s. I was still doing stupid shit. You know? You say it's not yet. Oh yeah, I know. I heard JFK talking about this too. I agree with him. But someone said, "Oh my God, she isn't that young. I had 2 kids by 24." I mean, maybe you grew up quicker because of that too. You know, people grow up differently based on life experiences. Some people are thrown into it. I know 17-year-olds who are probably more mature than 30-year-olds. You know, and it really depends on your life experience. Sometimes people have to grow up quicker. My mammy. So you have to consider that too. And you also have to realize that this guy is a player. He's sophisticated. There's a reason he got away with this for so long, folks. He's a master that's what I believe. I can't prove that, but everything I see, master manipulator, and he knows how to con the kids. Think about it. Think about this. And he didn't pick like the strongest 24-year-old. You know what I'm saying? He picked the one that he knew he had wrapped around his finger. Right? And she, yeah, like you said, she may have had some trauma. There could be a lot of influence going on that we don't know about. Maybe he was there for her in her hardest moment, and he had planned to do something later, but it never worked out. And she thinks he's great, right? Like she may have only seen the great side of him. So I give people passes, especially young people. She is not the problem. The problem is the guy sitting there. I believe top right corner, far left. He's the perpetrator. She is just somebody that he was trying to use to help himself out. So, yeah, she definitely looked up to him. You could see it. And he may have been the first adult, serious person to give her any love or attention, right? You know, I look at one of my high school coach, my wrestling coach. Thank God the guy's like so solid. He to this day, you'll never hear anybody say anything terrible about him. But I mean, he was so influential in my life. I don't think he knows it. He's such a quiet, just leader. But as a youngster, if he had done some shady shit, I probably would have overlooked it. Because, like when somebody gives you that kind of attention and it's someone that's actually important to you, you know what I mean? You could overlook a lot. No doubt about it. You don't want to see it. You don't know how to deal with it. You don't even know. So I give her a pass every single time here. She is not a bad person. I don't trust her testimony, and that's all that matters here.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds.
I've had it.
No, okay. Let's take a look. And what should I expect to happen next?
I just need 2 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, recess for 2 minutes.
Like that's all the video here. Um, one thing, this comment came through. This is a good comment, actually. Well, actually, I want to thank What the Duck. Gifted 5 Young Jerks memberships. I'm gonna be able to have another bologna sandwich tomorrow. Thank you so much, hooking me up. Oh my God, cost of bologna's going through the roof. All right, this is the one of the ones I want to respond to. Patting Loon says, as a mother, I'd never allow my daughter to get mixed up into protecting an alleged child predator. Well, number one, you don't know if she has a mother. Number two, you don't know if the mother, maybe the mother's the best friends of this guy and thinks he's not a child predator. You know what I mean? We don't know. We don't know anything about her background. And we don't know if she has a parent like you. We have no idea. We know what maybe the parent's best friends with Devine and thinks he's a great guy, has no idea. Doesn't believe it. You never know. You never know how people get influenced. Maybe there's some kind of, off the book stuff going on. Like, we never know. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel sad for her. We don't know what relationship, loyalty her parents and lawyer aunt had with Devine. And imagine how messed up she's going to be if she finds out later that this guy did all this shit. That's going to be a mind F for her, too. When she realizes, wow, this guy did do some shit. So, yeah, here's another one, too. Think about this angle. Mike, you were assuming a lot. No, I'm not, actually. I'm not assuming a lot. I think you're assuming a lot, actually, because you assumed that she had a mom. What we do know is that her aunt is an attorney and she helped her, right? What else could we make? You know who else is an attorney? Robert Devine. Maybe Robert Devine is friends with her aunt. Maybe this young girl is influenced by her aunt. We don't know. We have no idea. You have no idea. The only thing we do know is, like you said, her aunt is an attorney. Maybe they have her. I'm speculating. I have no idea. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of reasons why I'm not going to be mad at this young girl. It's 24 years old. Give me a break. It's not her fault if she's been coerced, brainwashed, influenced, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. All that matters is her testimony was incredible, and you can see the judge didn't buy it. That's all that matters, right? And we're done with her testimony. It was quick. It was over. It didn't matter. You know what's going to matter is Robert Devine's testimony, which was 3.5 hours, and I heard it didn't go well. And I heard he wasn't honest from what I've heard from one of his victims today, who was crying on the phone to me about his testimony. And that's what we're going to play next. Not tonight. Tomorrow night, we have a live show with Howie Carr coming in on the show. I hope that doesn't get rescheduled. We'll see. I haven't checked in with them, but I'll be sending the link over to them. But it's scheduled for tomorrow night at 7 p.m. with Howie Carr supposed to be coming on the show tomorrow night, 7 p.m. here. Howie Carr, we're going to talk about his new book. We're going to talk about some ducks because there's a whole chapter about these rubber duckies. You remember this one, Richie, the MAGA king, the duck king? He gave me a duck in front of the Canton Police Department, and they transcribed our entire interview with him, Rich Schiffer. I think Rich might call in tomorrow as well. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the thing. Beth from Bay State. I know I was influenced in certain ways by family members and kind of broke away from the family thinking when I got older. At 24, I was, you know, family members can influence hugely. We don't know. Who wasn't honest? I think she wasn't honest. I mean, I don't think it was intentionally dishonest, but I don't, when she was being kind of deceptive about how she got that subpoena, that was weird. That was weird. Yeah, that's the key, my mammy. That's all that really matters here is we have no idea either. But you agree, I agree, the judge didn't buy it either. That's all that matters here. Is I don't believe the judge bought it. This judge is smart. He's reading her body language. He's seeing that she can't definitively even tell him how she came about to do the affidavit. I think he totally just said, yeah, move on. There's nothing that matters in this testimony at all. And you know what's really matter, so far in all this testimony, I think that the thing that matters the most is all the documentation. There were so many text messages and Facebook messages and the Marty Riggs account. We don't know what that shit said because they kept, putting the static on it. They didn't show us any of the documents. They blurred everything out. That judge is seeing it all. And I think that's where the meat of this is for the state. They're saying, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And there's a reason why they came with the police chief and the assistant deputy chief there, because they got the receipts. They've looked at this, they investigated it. And I think that's going to be what determines what happens there. We don't even know how this judge ruled yet. They're keeping that a secret at this point because there's some type of appeal they don't want to influence. It's weird. But I have a feeling I know where this judge is going because he seems like he's on the ball. He seems like he knows. He asked the right questions, got right to it with her. It was perfect. It is actually Rich Schiffer. I like Howie and Rich Schiffer. I hope that it's spelled right. No, it's not. It's not Shepard. It's Schiffer. I can't believe all of the investigation they did on Rich, on the rubber ducky scandal, how much was done on Officer John. I know they pulled like tapes. They watched our show. They transcribed our show. They like went to telephone poles and pulled surveillance cameras. Like they got warrants and subpoenas with the printing company. I mean, they went through his. I mean, they treated him like he was Al Qaeda, and the charges got dismissed. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable how much money they spent on Rich Schiffer and how little they did on John O'Keefe. Yeah, the trial channel hits it the best. It's really hard to actually know without seeing those texts, those docs and texts. That's the biggest problem we're having watching this. It's so frustrating, is that we don't get to see it all. But to me, it seems comprehensive. It seems like they have a lot, and I have a feeling that this is not going to go in Devine's favor. And I think that I think there may be more that happens here. What I'm wondering is about the statute of limitations on the federal level. How does that work? Because some of this stuff may go back decades. I'm sure they could come up with some type of federal case. Yeah, and that's the other thing the judge definitely notices. We all noticed that, didn't we? She went from speaking very confidently to be very uncertain, right? She was very certain about how Sandra was as a child, but she was very uncertain more recently, right? Beth, Bay State mainly. Beth goes on and says, judge questions were very good. I'd be surprised if he considered credible. Exactly. He knows. No doubt about it. And that's exactly how you spell Rich's last name, Rich Schiffer, a.k.a. Duck Daddy. I also call him MAGA King because when I met him that day, he had the MAGA King hat on. Or I think, sure, I don't even know. It's like he had some MAGA King on. And he's like, I love you, dude. I know you. We both smoke weed. Like, he was so like, and we've been friends ever since. So every time I see him, I'm like, King. It's funny how some of these Trumpers say I hate all Trumpers, but I got a lot of Trump friends. I love Rich. He's the best. I got a lot of Trump friends. I don't discriminate based on politics. I don't. It doesn't matter to me. I'm issue oriented anyways. I don't even vote for the liberals half the time because a lot of times they're sellouts. I might agree with some of the things they say, but like someone was coming at me yesterday or today about the mayor of Boston. They're like, if you were in Boston, you would have voted for Wu. And I'm like, no. Number one, she gave $50,000 to the guy who, the nonprofit that's suing me. The dude, I thought that was a joke. She hurt my friend's business. She hurt local artists, I feel like, and local musicians. I covered that. And the biggest thing, she's been there like a little while now. Anyone who's been there a little while, I feel like they get too entrenched, especially mayors, and they never get voted out unless they have a huge scandal or they go for higher office. And so anytime there's a good candidate against an incumbent mayor, I like the challenger. I always usually vote for the challenger. And the biggest reason against Wu is Karen Reed, Commissioner Cox. You know, all of them. They say nothing. So no, I would not have voted for Wu. Unfortunately, Wu had no opponent yesterday, so she was going to win anyways. But I would have loved to see Kraft stay in the race. I was very disappointed with Josh Kraft. You know, and I don't like the system where Josh Kraft won that second place spot to be in the final against Wu, and then he drops out of the race, so she automatically wins. I wish there was a way that the third place candidate, who's Domingo, I like him. I talked to him. I would have voted for him. I don't think he has a lot of experience running cities and things like that, but I think his heart's in the right place. I would have voted for any of the challengers, the second or third place against Wu, just because I feel like we need someone new in there. So I don't vote party line. Unlike most of you. Most of you decide, you know, based on, I look at issues and what they've done. All right, what the doc says, no time limit in mass if the victim is under 18. Oh, I wonder if that's federal too, though. Because I don't, you know, the thing about mass, what the doc, is I don't have any faith in Norfolk County in Massachusetts or the AG until Morrissey gets voted out. You know, until we have Juna Perkins in there. I think Juna Perkins will look into this. Juna Perkins, you know, if you look at Juna Perkins, her career was sex crimes against children. That's what she specialized in. Defending them and prosecuting people who did horrible things to kids. That's what she did for when she was at Suffolk County. So she takes this very seriously. And Sandra Birchmore, I think she takes Sandra Birchmore more seriously than Karen Reed. Juna Perkins. So I think Juna would actually do something, but that's a long time to wait. I'd like to see the federal do something. That's the thing. Like Beth says, I don't like either party. I don't either, really. And it's not that I don't like people with Democrat or Republican next to the name. I like a lot of different Democrats and Republicans based on what they're working on. And sometimes I agree with them on one issue and not another. Like you see, remember Nick Boldega came on the show? We don't agree on a lot, but there's certain issues we do agree on. And that's the kind of thing I would work on him with. You know, like we work together on certain issues we agree on. I just don't think that people are all bad or all good. I look at it as like, you know, what are we working on? Are we working on something together? Is it something that we're working on together? So, and I think that both parties, especially at the top on the national level, there's so much money corrupting them both. That's the problem. You know, it's the money. And if you get up the top, you're working for that money. You know what I mean? I have more trust on the local level. I do. Because money isn't as big of a deal on the local level. Yeah, it is a conversation for another day. And Rich is a great guy. That's the thing. You know, Rich was one of the first people. If you look at that party, the fundraiser for Gigalotti, he was one of the people that, as soon as it was over, you saw him stuffing money. He was giving them money. He made a nice donation. Great, generous guy, Rich Schiffer is. I love Rich. Yeah, I wish we got rid of the parties. I do. I wish it was just based on experience and policies and what you were doing, not about right versus left, right? I think that alienates us too much. I would love to get rid of the two-party system. On the local level, on town and city in Massachusetts, they don't even list if you're a Democrat or Republican. You know, you have to decide the race not on D or R, but generally based on, is this person experienced? Does he talk or she talk about the issues, right? So I would do away with parties if we could, actually. Yeah, Rich and Dennis Sweeney, another one. Very generous that night. Very generous people. What the duck? She was there. She knows. And money that's the problem in politics, the money on both sides, Dems and Republicans. They both have commitments. That's why I always say when people say, "Do you support Woo?" and I said, "On what?" Like, what policy are you talking about that Woo? Because that will tell me whether I support her or not on that policy. There may be some things that Mayor Wu does that I'm like, I like that. Depends on what we're talking about. But I wouldn't have voted for her yesterday. And if I was voting in Boston, I would have probably done a write-in. I would have just said, you know what, I'm voting for Joe Blow or Vermin Supreme or Josh. I would have probably just wrote Josh Kraft's name in just to be a protest vote. I do that a lot, actually. When there's nobody running against somebody, even if I kind of like them, because I'm like, you know what? I want them to know that there are people out there that aren't satisfied with what they're doing. So they maybe work a little harder for us. Because I feel like these politicians, especially when they don't have an opponent, they get way too comfortable. And that's the problem. That's why I always vote for the underdogs. If there's a good underdog, they got experience, they care about the issues, they're a good person, I generally vote for them. That's it, too. That's the other thing. Most people don't even know what policy they are voted for, right? They just say, oh, I'm voting for the Republican or I'm just voting for the Democrat. I kind of look at policies. I do. I do. What are we talking about? You got to know who you're voting for and what you're voting for, right? People want to talk about New York last night. I mean, I don't know, I see a lot of people upset that Madami won, but geez, do you really want Cuomo to win? Did you read the shit that he did? Like, I used to think he was a decent guy back in the day. I did. Working class, Irish American, all that stuff, right? But you read what he did to those women that work for him. I wouldn't hire him to like scoop ice cream for me. I wouldn't. I mean, I would have picked either the other two guys. Was Sliwa? I think he's a little nuts too, but I would rather have him than Cuomo. I don't think he's done any of the shit that Cuomo did. And I know people are all up in arms about Madami. Jeez, I don't know. I think people just get caught up. I really do. I think it's left versus right. That's why most people don't like the guy. If you're right, you don't like him, right? Jeez, but you're supporting Cuomo? Like he was. I mean, he would not get my vote ever now. Andrew Cuomo. I'm sorry. Yeah, you treat women like shit, especially ones that work for you. Like that's the thing. Workers' rights means a lot to me. That's the thing. I just don't like people that abuse their workers, especially when you're the boss. When you're the boss and you're abusing people that work for you, and especially when it's someone who's has less status, like a woman or a younger person. That's gross. You don't do that shit. That's a reason why you're not supposed to date your underlings, right? And it's one thing if you fall in love with one and you get married or whatever, it's a one off. Okay, well, that's fine. But if you're doing that every single time there's a new woman in the office, that's you. You're not in love. You're a scumbag. Would I vote for him? I don't know who I would have voted for. I don't know. I'm not educated enough. I know I wouldn't have voted for Cuomo. I would have voted probably for Swiliwa or yeah, Vadami. Either one of them. Cuomo, no friggin' way. Not with what I saw in that lawsuit. He's a scumbag. I'd vote for anybody but Cuomo. That's what I would have been. I'm sorry. When you treat your employees like that, I'm out. Yeah, they say he wants to defund the police. I don't believe that. I don't think any people on the left want to defund the police anymore. I don't. I think that was cool for like a year. I really do. I think that most people on the left, especially politicians, don't actually want to defund the police. I don't believe that actually. Because I hear from a lot of people who are liberal that don't want to defund the police. They just want better policing. They want like that's me actually. I don't generally like to defund the police. I've never really, especially now, looking back on it, I think we actually need more police resources, but it has to be more professional. It has to be there has to be standards and more accountability, like the post commission. Thank God we have the post commission. They could actually do even more. That's what I'm about. I'm about like really raising the standards. We did the same thing with education, right? We raised the standards in teachers. We used to have lifetime tenure, lifetime certifications. We don't have that anymore. We raised the standards for teachers, and you know what? The teachers got better. That's what I'm about, raising standards of professions, especially teachers and and police officers, because those are important jobs. And more checks and balances. Yeah, more accountability. Like I feel like any police officer that has like, they should be a certain amount of complaints. When you have like 15 citizen complaints, you should have to go for before a board and explain it and they should check your certification. Like we need much more of that accountability where the bottom 20%, you got to defend your job. If you're someone who's always a problem for the town or the city, costing them money, you need to be able to defend your job or you lose your license. You're out. That's the way I feel about policing. And I think the good police want it. I do. Just like I'm in the dog walk business, right? Dog. Personally, I kind of don't want more accountability in terms of licensing. We aren't required to be licensed. I know the laws and the rules. It's basically if you don't have more than 4 dogs at your house a night, you don't have to be a licensed kennel. We never go over that, obviously. But personally, I wouldn't want to have all the standards because I hate doing the paperwork and the licensing, but I wouldn't be upset by it. And the reason I say that is because I see a lot of people in the dog industry that are terrible at it. They don't care about the well-being of the dogs. Dogs get harmed. A lot of bad stuff happens, and it's not good for the business or the industry. Or so if they ever raise standards, I really wouldn't be that upset. And most of the standards that they would require, I'm already doing. You know what I mean? Like being insured. I don't even need to be insured. I'm self-insured, but I still have insurance. Like there are certain standards people just don't do. And I think when the government does raise the standards, it is helpful if it's a profitable business. I have they do that with what do you call it? Hair care salons. That seems kind of a scam, those kind of certifications, because they're not making crazy money. And a lot of times it's not really worth it for people to go through that. So sometimes I think certifications are too much, but I think for some businesses, industry, they probably should do it and they should raise the standards. Fortunately, that's the way it is at Alexandria. And we need others to take a look at themselves and take accountability for their own actions and the actions that they have caused others. See, that's the problem. The ones who do that don't have issues. You know what I'm saying? It's like, a lot of people say, well, it's up to the parents. The parents have to. Well, a lot of kids don't have parents, or they don't have a good parent. They have parents, but they're terrible role models. So you can't always rely and expect everybody's going to do the right thing. You know, the standards are for the ones that don't do the right thing, right? And unfortunately, that's just the way society is now. And I have to say, I don't always like standards because, I was a licensed financial advisor. One of the reasons I lost my career basically is because I got busted for a joint, which is ridiculous. So I don't like those kind of regulations and standards, honestly, but it is what it is. I don't think that would happen today. Nobody would be arrested over a joint, in Massachusetts at least. I love what the duck. No time limit in Mass if the victim is under 18. Let's hope that's the case on the federal level too, because that's what I'm worried about. It's like because I feel like the feds are the ones. I know that feds have interviewed witnesses about all this stuff. I don't know about the DA's office, what they actually have been doing. So I know that some people are newly here tonight. People are just getting out of work, just checking in. One of the things I want to say is we just replayed the video from Hailey Hogan, who was a witness for Robert Devine, who didn't seem very credible. I don't want to bash her. I'm trying to be nice to her. She seems like a nice young lady. She's a dog groomer. I hope she does really well in that. Um, but I didn't find her credible. But the big thing, the big takeaway today is I had a call from a victim, an alleged victim of Robert Devine. I haven't even gotten into all the details. I don't even want to ask, honestly. Because today, when she called, she was crying. And it was a video call. I'm walking some dogs. I didn't have good reception, so I turned off my video. And when she first called, like the first couple seconds, I didn't realize, because I'm walking a dog and I'm trying to look at the phone. The dog stopped, stop with the dog for a second because I know who's calling. And I looked into her face, looked at her, looked at the screen, and she was crying. I said, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And it was because she had watched the video of Robert Devine testifying, which is the next video we're going to review here on the next show where we do Sandra Birchmore. And she's upset because she saw him lying. And specifically, she felt like he was lying about some of the things that she went through. That was a tough call. It was quick. She had to go because she had to go pick up her, one of her kids or her only kid. I'm not sure what her kid situation is, but I know she was going to pick up a child. This is like a younger mom, and this is real. Like people still feel this is really. There are victims out here watching this stuff, and they're triggered, and they're like, and the one message she wanted me to let everyone know is that she knows that he's lying. She wanted everyone to know that's what she's telling me, and that's what she wants to tell you, is that Divine is not honest in his testimony. And this is an alleged victim, somebody that was groomed by him. I don't even know all the details, but I felt that emotion. That was a real hard call to take. That's why we're here, right? To speak for them. So I'll be talking to her more, hopefully. And it's a weird situation because I'm like, I like, should I try to talk her into coming on the show? Because I think it would be helpful. But at the same time, it's like, do you really want her to go through that? Like, I could tell that she's like, I shouldn't have watched the video. I shouldn't have watched it. Like I don't know what to tell a victim like that. Like I've never been through that. I'm not trained for that. I try to be as nice as I can be, and it affects me too. Like, and it's not like it's about me at all. It's not. But I mean, if I'm feeling it, and it doesn't even, I'm not the victim. You know what I'm saying? And I could feel that on the phone. Is what I'm saying. I could feel that real. That was it. It's real. And this is what she's suffering with every fucking day. It's heartbreaking. And if I felt like that, can you imagine what she's feeling like? And to know that this guy's on the stand, this freaking lawyer. He's a freaking lawyer. He's practicing lawyer right now. And he hasn't been arrested. He hasn't lost his certification. He get to have a defense. He get to lie. And what have the feds done for her? What has DA Morrissey done for her? What has anybody done for her? We've done a lot of fundraising. Maybe we should start fundraising for her. Well, that's the thing too. Like, there's been a lot of kind of freaking drama around, right? And it just reminds me of what I'm actually here for. She obviously does trust me to a degree. And I think that she can trust me. Like I'm not gonna ever burn her. So it just kind of reminded me, Beth, like why am I here? This is why I'm here. Thank you so much, Sherry. See, that's the thing too about age. That's why I look at myself at 24. I was a loser. I had no clue. I couldn't have been able to handle that call that I took today at age 24 from a victim. Life experience, you change. You can change. I'm not saying everyone changes. A lot of people stay in that child mindset even at age 50 something. But I think a lot of us get a different, life experiences. I was watching JFK talking about the colon cancer today. I had a very similar, I had a lot of experiences like that when I was younger too. My early 20s, I had bladder cancer and the back injury that I'm talking about. All that happened like right around the same time. That's the thing with the duck. That's the thing. It's like, how do you know if it's right for them? What the duck says, that's a personal choice, Mike. Some victims find power in speaking about it, others don't. And that's the thing. I don't know what's the right thing for her. And I understand that. I don't want to, I'm not going to put any pressure on her at all. Whatever she wants to do, I just hope it's the right thing for her. Because I felt that today and it was real. It was friggin' real. Like there's real trauma there. And I kind of had some, fun conversations even on like text and with this person. And today it was like, wow, now I see. Now I see. Proctor's phone telling everything says, Mike, you're amazing. Don't change for anyone. I'm not changing. The only one I try to change for is my girlfriend. She asked me to do something. I'll try. But even there, she says I'm too stubborn. Yeah, therapy can be helpful. I've been through this therapy. It is helpful. It helps you deal with your bullshit. Yeah, the one thing I was happy to tell her today, I think you said this earlier, Phoebe, is that I said, everybody knows he's lying. Like, don't be upset and feel like he's getting away with his lying. Because I've asked people in the show, do you think he's credible or Sanders credible? And we haven't even heard his testimony yet, and people already don't think the dude's credible. So no one's buying it. And I think she felt good hearing that back, that people get it, that this guy is not a truthful guy. I don't buy it. And again, I'm not saying I have any proof to convict him or any of that, but I'm just saying my feelings on this from what I've seen. It does sound like it would be rough for her. I think that's the thing. I would love her to do it, but I don't want to friggin' see that happen to her. Like that was, I could tell today. Just this shit is hard. Talking about children, young girls. Maybe she could. We'll see. This is a big one right here. We are all who we are today because of our experiences and mistakes in life. What we do with those lessons is what is important. I agree. And sometimes they're not even mistakes. Sometimes they're just challenges. Like I guess you call those experiences, but you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes bad shit happens to us that it wasn't our fault. Like whether it's a car accident or cancer or you're a child and an adult lets you down, right? And sometimes there are mistakes and sometimes they're not. But if you could survive it, yeah, a lot of times it gives you an edge later, right? That's what I always go back to. Like this isn't as bad as when I found out I had cancer and thought I was gonna die in my 20s, right? This isn't as bad as when I blew out my knee and my wrestling was over and it's all I had. And that wasn't even that bad because then I started writing. Like like that was a blessing. It turned out to be a blessing. I probably would have been a meathead jock. I was a meathead. Like it made me more humane, more human. Having losses early in life and all that stuff, I think it opened me up. Made me realize, wow, people have it hard. This is actually nothing and it fucked me up. Can you imagine what people are going through that worst? Like it made me more aware that people are struggling out there. And we don't know, we don't see it, we don't know about it. I mean, when I had cancer, I wasn't going around telling everyone, "Hey, I have cancer." I might have told a few friends and family, but it also makes you realize the beautiful thing about me getting cancer when I was young, it made me realize how short life is and that we're not guaranteed. It reminds me every friggin' day. And especially as I got a little older, when I got into my 30s, it just made me realize like my whole issues is I don't know why I'm here. Now I do. Like it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do with my time and my life, you know? Mm. Thank you so much, everybody. All right, I want to thank Proctor's phone telling everything. Wow, how about that phone? How about that phone? This is unbelievable now that and I have heard some more info about Sean Good. And this is not like how can I say this? This is from one source, a well-placed source. Let's put it that way. And they're saying it's bad for Good. That there's basically what I'm hearing is there's zero chance he's getting his job back. And I have heard that it's about Proctor's, the messages. Who knows what there? It seems like something's up there. This is going to be interesting to see what happens with Sean Good next, and see how Karen Reed uses it in her civil trial too. Right? I think I'm just about out of here. So again, I'll be live tomorrow, 7 p.m. with Howie Carr here on the Young Jerks. I can't wait. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. I also want to thank. I got a Cash App donation. I think it was last night. Was it last night? I think it was last night when I wasn't even doing a show. I love that when they just. I love when you folks think about me, especially when some shit's going down. You kind of just give me the. Here it is. Let me read this one. This is from the Rogue Townie. He sent $10. Oh, this was this morning, 8:53 a.m. I believe it was. And they said for ice and K tape for your back, feel better. I'm actually gonna buy some bologna if that's all right, the Rogue Tony. Thank you for the bologna, and I'm gonna do a few more stretches tonight. Oh, that back just cracked. That felt good actually. Oh my god. You just started reading Howie's book. I am too. I'm taking a highlighter to it tonight. Taking a highlighter to it. Any good questions? What do you want? Because there's a lot of different chapters in it. I'm definitely going to be asking about the ducks. I'm wondering if there's any sections that you want me to specifically cover with Howie tomorrow. I also want to thank Karen D. Karen D just sent $10 on Venmo. Said, thank you for playing these. Here is a little something. Get a couple of Cliff Bars. Fuel. I love it. I need Karen D. I need some Cliff Bars. I'm gonna get some Cliff Bars and maybe some bologna if I can afford both. Your $10 is definitely gonna help me out on Venmo. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Yes, you're gonna be here. You're setting the alarm 7 p.m. I better check my emails and make sure they didn't have to reschedule again. Last week, people were all worried, like, how he canceled, what's going on? They have too many books. I went in there and there was like, you would not believe how many books they had going out, like getting shipped. all day. These poor mail guys, they were like, I was like, holy shit, dude, is this your biggest stop today? He's like, yeah, this is a little much. They've sold a lot of books. So again, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. with Howie Carr, unless something gets changed. No, it's not a book signing here. We can't sign books on a live stream. But no, we're doing a book review kind of. Howie's got a new book out. We're gonna talk to him about his new book tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on the Young Jerks with legendary Howie Carr. And you got to remember too, Howie Carr is the guy that didn't back down from Whitey Bulger, one of the most notorious crime lords in North America, probably ever. And Howie had a hit put on him by Whitey Bulger. Howie doesn't back down. I love Howie. I am so happy that Howie's a friend. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Howie Carr here on the Young Jerks. I never thought that would happen. This will be his second time coming on here. My Robin Hood account, I don't touch it. I can't liquidate it. I'm actually killing it in the stock market. I'm still worried though. It's like, geez, it's like too good to be true, right? Especially I'm holding all that Nvidia. Nvidia's killing it. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Sarah's here. She says tomorrow night is going to be awesome. Hi and bye, jerks. I love you, Sarah. Sarah's a good friend. I really appreciate Sarah. I will see you tomorrow night, Sarah. Don't make me cry tonight. She knows why. Aw, love it. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Well, I'm hitting the redirect on YouTube, so we're gonna redirect you to LTL. I think he's with Nan tonight, but they're reviewing some Proctor stuff, some Karen Reed stuff. I didn't really get to cover a lot of the Karen Reed stuff today because I wanted to talk about Sandra Birchmore, but LTL's got it covered, and he's good. He's got a good guest. You need to give me some money, to invest for you. No, I'll tell you how to invest it, and you just do it yourself. You have a Robinhood account, it's easy. NVIDIA. It's very simple. Just buy some NVIDIA. That's it. That's the stock. I'm trying to think of some other ones to buy. I mean, I probably buy a little Nebius too, but just start with NVIDIA. You'll be good. And then go out from there. Yeah, Howie was a beast with with Whitey. I mean, that takes a lot of balls. I mean, they wouldn't. Whitey couldn't just put you in jail. He probably could have because he had some cops on the take. But these guys would go out and kill you. Like them knocking off a reporter would be nothing. And I think the only reason it didn't happen is because of who Howie sent was Kevin Weeks. Kevin Weeks tells a story on 60 Minutes about it. How he showed up at Whitey's house. He was in the cemetery across the street from Whitey at like 3:30 in the morning, waiting for Howie to come out of the house in the morning. And Howie comes out with his daughter. And Kevin Weeks decided not to take the shot because he had a kid or something like that and didn't want to do it in front of his daughter. If it had been another killer that Whitey Bulger had sent, it might have been a little different. Or as Howie said in that 60 Minutes interview, he said he didn't think Kevin Weeks had the stones for it, but he felt like if it was Howie, I mean, if it was Whitey, if Whitey had actually been outside there, or Stevie Flemmy, it would have been different. Oh, you want another stock show? Maybe if I have time. Though that takes a little time for me to come up with my list and all that. But we could do another stock show soon. Especially if we have a crash. If we have a crash, then I'll feel good about telling everyone to buy again. That's the thing. The prices have gone up, so I'm like kind of worried about telling people to start today. I always say dollar, especially when the market's up like it is now, dollar cost average. And if the market goes down, then buy more. Dollar cost average is just buying a little every day. So you're not buying at the highest price if we're at the peak. All right, I will see you tomorrow. We'll be going over that Howie Car book. If you have any questions, hit us up, whether on social media or tomorrow in the chat. If you have any good comments, anything you want to say to Howie Carr tomorrow, any questions you have, as well as Rich Schiffer, because I believe he's going to join us as well. 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Howie Carr on the Young Jerks. And tonight we're going to redirect you on our YouTube channel to LTL Media. Check him out right now. I'll see you all over there in the chat. I want to thank everybody, all the super chats, all the commenters, everyone's watching. AMD, I do like AMD. I own some of it. I own actually quite a bit of it. But I just feel like if you're gonna go that way, it's just better to buy Nvidia because they got the monopoly on the AI stuff, and they have the operating system, the CUDA operating system, the CUDA. I just feel like they're so far ahead. So I would just go with Nvidia, and I still think it's like underpriced, even though it's kind of expensive now. But it's still a risk. The AI thing too. You never know how things are going to turn out. If there could be some type of crash. But I think for now, it looks good. Ask Howie about meatballs. Next chance for another try. I think he knows it's not good. Yeah, you can buy $1 a day of Nvidia. That's what I do. Every day, no matter what. I have a couple different accounts. I got a Robinhood brokerage account, which is just a regular account. And then I have a Robinhood traditional IRA and a Robinhood Roth. And each one of those, I buy $1 a day, no matter what, of Nvidia. And then if I'm feeling like I have more money or the stock's down, then I'll buy more. It's that easy. You can buy $1 a day. And I just have it automatic, direct deposit, $1 a day. And sometimes if I'm feeling more wealthy or I'm feeling better, it'll be $10 a day or $20. You know, you can set any amount. That's the best way to invest. Invest long term. If you invest in these stocks for like 10 years, you're going to be making bank. That's the way you invest. Once you have 10 years in on stocks, you're making a killing. And that's what I'm sitting on. Nvidia. Yeah, it's NV. Let's look up the stock symbol so everyone knows. I don't want to spell it wrong. I should know the stock symbol in Nvidia. That's funny. I think it's NVDA. Let me just make sure. Yeah, the stock symbol is NVDA. And the way you spell NVIDIA is NVIDIA. NVDA is the symbol. And that's not a recommendation. That's just that's like my number one that I'm always buying. Just telling you what I'm doing. I've done one before, and it was like, I think in the beginning of this year, wasn't it? And all my picks went up. Like, people made money on them. And they were the ones you should expect to buy. Like, it wasn't rocket science. I wasn't like picking like stocks that people didn't know about. It was just stocks that I knew were going to go up. And maybe I will do that again. We'll see. We'll see. You can find that. Most of those stocks on that, I would still buy. You know, there might be a few maybe not now because maybe they've gone up too much. But most of those stocks, I'm still buying. You got to buy something, even if they go up. All right, I'm out of here. We'll see you over at LTL Media. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night. See you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Howie Carr here on the Young Jerk.